Change.Edu, Rebooting for the New Talent Economy by Bryan Alexander is an insightful exploration of the challenges and opportunities facing the higher education sector in the 21st century. The book focuses on how universities and colleges can adapt to the rapidly changing landscape of the global economy, technological advancements, and shifting student expectations. Alexander argues that higher education must evolve in order to prepare students for the emerging talent economy, which places an increased emphasis on skills and adaptability rather than traditional degrees and credentials. The book begins by examining the forces driving change in the education sector, such as globalization, automation, and the rise of new industries. Alexander points out that traditional models of education, which focus on delivering static knowledge, are becoming outdated as the job market demands more flexible, dynamic, and innovative approaches to learning. The rise of digital technologies, in particular, has fundamentally altered the way information is accessed and shared, leading to the emergence of new learning formats, such as online courses, micro-credentials, and competency-based education. One of the key themes of the book is the shift in the value proposition of higher education. Alexander argues that while universities have traditionally been seen as institutions that provide a comprehensive, multi-year education culminating in a degree, the modern world increasingly values specific skills that can be demonstrated in the workplace. Employers are no longer as focused on academic credentials as they once were, instead prioritizing practical, adaptable skills that can be applied in real-world settings. As a result, higher education institutions must rethink their role in preparing students for this new economy. The book also highlights the increasing importance of lifelong learning. In the new talent economy, career paths are no longer linear, and individuals are likely to change jobs multiple times throughout their lives. This requires a shift in how education is structured, with an emphasis on continuous learning and the ability to acquire new skills throughout one's career. Alexander advocates for a model of education that encourages lifelong learning, where universities and other educational institutions work in partnership with employers to provide ongoing education and training opportunities. Alexander also delves into the changing expectations of students. With the proliferation of online learning and other flexible education models, students now expect more personalized and tailored learning experiences. They are no longer content with a one-size-fits-all approach, but instead demand greater control over their education, including the ability to choose courses that align with their individual career goals and interests. This shift requires institutions to be more responsive to student needs and to offer a wider range of learning options, including hybrid and online formats. The book critiques the overemphasis on traditional four-year degrees, which Alexander believes may not be the most effective path for many students, especially in industries that value specialized skills over formal credentials. He explores the rise of alternative education models, such as coding boot camps, apprenticeships, and vocational training, which provide more targeted and flexible pathways into the workforce. These alternatives are gaining traction as more students and employers recognize that they can be just as valuable, if not more so, than a traditional degree. At the heart of Change.Edu is a call for universities to embrace innovation and experimentation in their educational offerings. Alexander argues that higher education institutions must be willing to adapt to new technologies, methodologies, and business models in order to remain relevant and effective. This includes adopting data-driven approaches to education, where institutions use analytics to better understand student needs, improve teaching methods, and track learning outcomes. The book also discusses the importance of collaboration between higher education institutions, businesses, and governments in shaping the future of education. Alexander stresses that no single entity can solve the challenges facing higher education on its own. Instead, universities, employers, and policymakers must work together to create educational systems that align with the demands of the new talent economy. He advocates for a more integrated approach to education, where students gain hands-on experience through internships, co-op programs, and other forms of experiential learning. Change.Edu also touches on the role of diversity and inclusion in the future of higher education. Alexander argues that as the workforce becomes more global and interconnected, universities must ensure that they are providing equal access to education for all students, regardless of their background. He discusses the importance of creating inclusive learning environments that support diverse perspectives and prepare students to work in a multicultural and globalized world. In his analysis, Alexander acknowledges the financial challenges facing higher education, including rising tuition costs and the burden of student debt. He suggests that institutions must find ways to make education more affordable and accessible to a broader range of students. This may involve exploring alternative funding models, such as income share agreements or partnerships with employers who can help subsidize education costs in exchange for a commitment to work for a certain period after graduation. The book concludes by offering a vision for the future of higher education, one in which institutions are more flexible, responsive, and focused on equipping students with the skills they need to succeed in a rapidly changing economy. Alexander envisions a future where universities are no longer gatekeepers to success but are instead partners in helping students navigate the complexities of the modern workforce. He stresses that the key to success in this new talent economy lies in an institution's ability to adapt, innovate, and remain committed to meeting the evolving needs of students and employers. Ultimately, Change.Edu is a call to action for universities, educators, and policymakers to rethink the role of higher education in the modern world. It challenges traditional notions of education and encourages a more flexible, skill-based approach that prepares students for the dynamic, fast-paced world of the new talent economy. By embracing change and innovation, higher education can help shape the workforce of the future and ensure that students are prepared for the challenges and opportunities ahead.